So after a lackluster first impression of the recent demo, I decided to give Kirby's latest adventure another shot. What did I think of the game? So Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So I picked this up because it was $40, which is about $30 US. I thought there's nothing to lose here. There's all there is to gain. If I don't like it still, I will just make money off the purchase and be done with Kirby forever. And I've got to say, coming off Elden Ring, I didn't have my access to my PS5 last week. I really love this game, and I'm like done a full 180 on this game. And like, I'll admit it, like, I still think what I said about the demo stands. And going back to the demo really briefly, I can see what they're trying to do in terms of give you a taste of what the game is. But for me, the most critical thing about this game is the little mini challenges that it gives you. So to me, this game is not like, I don't think this game would be fun if I eliminated all the mini challenges. It would be really like ridiculously straightforward. I barely died in this game as is. And I think I'd just be like bored like I was with the demo. But the mini challenges, and they've always had it in Kirby games, but this one, it's like so well integrated into the actual game itself. And you can see it if you're watching the B-roll, like things popping up as you go through it. It actually does give that element of fun and challenge as well. Like, for instance, with pretty much all of the bosses at the end of the worlds, one of the challenges is to complete all the challenges is you need to beat the boss without taking any damage. And it sounds like, oh yeah, that's trivial. It's not that trivial, actually. Like, you're gonna sound like, this is gonna sound dumb, but genuinely, I got through like Elden Ring bosses without getting touched more than some of these bosses, right? Just because it's like, oh, okay, I gotta just be like much more careful.
Kirby can't summon a little mimic Kirby.
Yeah, exactly. There's no mimic. And it's actually also amazing. And I'm surprised that no one's done this video. Like, it's like a donkey style video. There's like a blacksmith in this game, and you actually can upgrade the takeover abilities, which is super awesome. Like, it's actually one of the most fun parts of the game and really rewards you for doing the mini challenges and getting extra, like basically currency in the game. And like, there's this funny parallels with like Elden Ring that you can have with that perspective of like, you're actually leveling up your actual equipment, things like that, going to the smithy.
So can you do a Kirby arcane build where he bleeds all the bosses?
Well, there was some stuff that I was doing, and I was gonna send you guys like a clip. It's like, oh, I'm really enjoying my like warrior build or some shit like that, because you can actually kind of customize which one you want to pick. But yeah, look, like as I said during the demo, the way the game looks, it's super awesome. The music, I really like the art style. It was just zero challenge. But having played it now, and like with the mini challenges and trying to play it with that, it actually became pretty fun.
Can I just say, I think it's such a shame. I don't know, it's probably been a little bit, but you know how Doom, the remake, and Animal Crossing,
Yeah,
like, I don't know if it was the same release day or same release time.
exact same release day.
So all those memes happened between those two games.
Yeah.
And I know
that's Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing.
Oh, was it Eternal? Okay, yeah, Doom Eternal. So I know Kirby came out obviously after Elden Ring, but it's such a shame that those two games didn't get that same treatment.
I agree.
Because just the jokes that I'm thinking of now, which are only funny to me, no one else. It just would have been perfect for it. What a shame. What a missed opportunity.
Yeah, but like weirdly enough, because I'm just thinking back to that time, I think Nintendo leaned into those jokes a little bit more than they almost ever would normally, with their Doom jokes.
Yeah.
I think like the most that they did was stuff like retweet it or something like that, or like it or whatever, right? Which is a lot for Nintendo. But yeah, I think that's probably more maybe like FromSoft and who was Bandai Namco who published Elden Ring.
Yeah.
They didn't really lean into any of those things. Because I agree with you. There's like so many things in this game, having played Elden Ring and then this game, where I'm like, there's so many funny comparisons you could make to the games. And also just like the boss battles of trying to like do it perfectly. It's like a no hit run, right? Like it was actually pretty funny. So, but yeah, like going to the game, like to me, and I always whinge about this, but this game is just such a good length. It doesn't overstay its welcome. If you want to like go through it a bit faster. You can start skipping some of the challenges, but you know, it has like nice, vibrant worlds. And it actually does, it continually incentivizes you more a little bit than any other Kirby game I've played, where, you know, collecting more of the collectibles unlocks more of your abilities, and then you can upgrade the copy abilities. And it's something that it'd be a shame if they remove in future games, because it just becomes one of those, you know, it's almost like a light RPG element of like, okay, I want to like level this up, and I sort of leveled up all the copy abilities, and there's about a dozen in the game. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. I've leveled them all up. And then I realized, oh, there's another level to them. I'm like, oh shit, okay. I want to try to get them all leveled up. And then there's even like special ones depending on what you do in the game. And there's also like an awesome like post-game content to this, where it's not like new worlds, but you know, they sort of remix the worlds a bit, and there's a bit of a challenge there that I won't spoil, but like that's a totally separate optional part of the game. You don't absolutely need to do it all, but I was like, oh, well, I have to do that as well. I haven't 100%ed the game, but part of it is like, because it's not like super straightforward to just 100% this game. Like you actually need to like, you know, it reminds me of Body Harvest in a way. Like there's some of the time challenges where it's not as hard as that, by the way, but
I love a Body Harvest reference in a podcast. Thank you.
But it's not as hard as that, obviously, but it's just like, you can see, okay, I got to make this time. You go through a level or like a little mini challenge, and it's like, oh, okay.
Are you meaning Blast Corps?
Blast Corps, sorry, Blast Corps.
I'm like, okay, hey, I still appreciate the Body Harvest reference.
No, Blast Corps, I meant to say Blast Corps. You go through something and you go, oh, okay, I've got to do this really differently, or like just way quicker than the way I'm doing it. And it teaches you a bit about the game and like that. I don't know, but I love those kind of games. Mario Kart's done it a lot in the past with the developer ghosts, where you feel like, oh shit, there's a way to play this faster. And it's almost like this conversation you're having with the devs that I really enjoy personally. The other thing I wanted to mention is the Mouthful Mode. So that's, you know, the whole meme around Kirby. So you've got the car and you're not actually like swallowing those things. I think that's the thing. You're getting your whole mouth around it, but you can't swallow the whole thing. I feel like this could be clipped very, very easily right now.
I'm sure it's been done many times with Mouthful Mode.
And you know what? Like, it's kind of weird because people do rightfully go, why isn't it just a copy ability? It's pretty much the same thing, but it does make sense in the design of the world, which I kind of love. Like, they've almost been consistent with this idea with Kirby and what Kirby can and can't do. And they, you know, in a very Nintendo, I know it's HAL who made this game, but, you know, Kirby's always got that Nintendo feel to it. It's got, you know, the very Nintendo touch on playing with that mechanic. Some of those Mouthful modes are just like a one-off type of thing, and they don't overstate their welcome either. So, look, like, I think this game's a great game for kids. Like, as I said, like, I'm happy to say I was wrong. I don't feel like I was completely wrong, because the demo to me is not a good representation of what this game is.
I'm glad to hear it. I had a feeling it would go that way, but when you said you bought it, I had a feeling that it would go that way. And the fact that you said that you were reviewing it, I'm like, well, he's obviously liked it enough to, not that it's a super long game, but to, you know, to basically complete it in, I don't know, was it a week and a half or something? Like,
it wasn't even that. It was like, it was like 4 days or something.
I just know, looking at the footage that we've had on for the YouTube clip, like, this game just looks so delightful. It just looks like the kind of game just makes you happy playing. You know?
Yeah, it's a real fun game. As I said, it doesn't overstate its welcome. It doesn't like become frustrating. I never got frustrated with the game. And I think if you're a completionist, like I also like Gerard the completionist, and you know, I think he would give this a complete it rating, right? Because it just feels like that kind of thing.
I actually watched his video.
Did he say complete it?
I can't remember that thing, but he talked about, you know, there's lots of collectibles and stuff in this game, and things like that. So it seems cool with that.
But in a fun way, like it doesn't feel like. One thing about Spider-Man I always felt was, you know, you collect all these backpacks, and there's reasons why you need to do it to level up and stuff, but it does feel like a very old school Nintendo 64 approach to structuring it, whereas this didn't ever really come across like that to me. It was always like, there was stuff I saw in the level, I'm like, oh, I wonder if I could do it this way, and then there's the way the game does it, it sort of reveals the hidden mini challenges as you finish the levels.
Just looking at the footage on YouTube that looked like such an Elden Ring, like the
Like
big
slam
turtle in the
down. Yeah, I
blocks.
know. I
Like
know.
I'm like, man,
No, there's
you're so
other
right.
dude. There's
You are
other
so
things.
right saying you could do cross them games so
There's
much.
there's even more. There's even more where it's like, oh my god, I'm surprised I haven't watched a video on YouTube because it would be in my recommendation feed. But yeah, no, really liked it. Can't say much more about it than if you're on the fence about it, I would have a crack and play it because, like, I wasn't even on the fence about it. I was like, I'm not getting this game, and if it wasn't on sale, I wouldn't have got it, and it might have just gone past and I've missed it, right? So, not a great demo in my opinion because ultimately a demo is there to get you into the game and sort of hyped for the game, and it did the opposite for me. Whereas playing the game, I actually really enjoyed it. But yeah, so do you reckon you're going to pick this up at some stage or?
If it drops to a price that I'm happy to, I often do that with Nintendo games. There are games where they don't always end up being like, was it Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker or whatever that
Yeah.
game is? Like, that's a game where I'm like, on surface, looks like I'd love, and it just didn't really hook me that much. Whereas this just looks like a fun time. But I do like what you said there. You like, okay, if you're on the fence, have a crack. So you heard it here from Integot. Have a crack at Kirby. There you go.
Hey,
Have
you
a
know,
crack.
Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. I played that entire game in the game trial week that they had in Japan. And then like I was done with the game. Like it's actually a very good comparison in a way. It's like it is that kind of game. It's just like very airy. Like it's not like super dense or anything like that. I'm happy to send it down to Melbourne if you want to play it because I think Mike wanted to borrow it from me, so maybe I could
Mike
make the
wants to
rounds.
borrow everything. For a guy that doesn't like playing games, he likes asking to borrow games. But that's fine. Like I've borrowed games from him before. But
All right, well that ends my review of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed it.